what we're seeing even with Drake and Kendrick, it's Meek Mill's fault. I think.
Hold on. This is crazy.
Wait.
That's a crazy take.
No. I don't get the claim.
No. I'll tell you why.
Wow.
I'll tell you why. Because defeating Meek Mill in that type of way. By the way, Drake was the underdog into that beat.
I see where you're going.
Oh,
everyone said, "Yo, this is the guy who used to have nappy braids on the corner, battle rapping." He grew up battle rapping. You grew up on the grass. You're not gonna beat him. Drake knocks him out, right?
Yeah.
So now it's giving Drake a level of confidence to say, "Yo, I'm defeating the battlers of the battlers." These guys really don't want to see me. It's inflating your. Now we realize Meek Mill is as 50 says, a special type of stupid. Like literally, anybody could have defeated him. I defeated him on Twitter. He just blocked me. You know what I mean?
So do I agree with what Akademiks said? Do I feel like Drake probably been smelling himself after he beat after he beat Meek Mills in the battle? I'm sure he probably did. And he probably did. I'm sure when you hear everybody kind of get their criticism on and recapping what happened, I do kind of feel like that helped his ego go through the roof because he felt like, but I'm sure in Drake, and to me, in my reality, in my world, and probably even in Drake's world, he probably felt like Meek Mills is more impactful and bigger than Kendrick Lamar.
But hold up. Is it really Meek or was Nicki?
What you mean?
Because I feel like, this the nigga you chose to deal with, and this nigga that's representing you.
What you mean? I'm missing.
Because that's how because that's how we threw when he threw the shots about the whole Ghostwriters. It's like, all right, this the nigga you land up with. He speak. That's what I'm saying. Like, do we discredit? I mean, Meek, I feel like even competitive wise, like, do you sit here and say like he really dethroned him?
What you mean? I'm
just saying when you say is we blame it on Meek because Meek didn't put up that whole battle, but I feel like even Nicki was the more focus because what shots really did Drake even throw at Meek besides is that your girl tour or your world tour?
That's whatever shots doing.
But it was Nicki. It wasn't really towards because how many people took shots at Meek like you screaming on the mic, you doing that whole. That's what I'm saying. Like really, is it really Meek who lost that battle, or was it aimed more towards Nicki?
Nigga, I don't know you confusing the hell out of me. I don't know what you talking about. You kind of like threw me for a loop, but nigga, that was a shot at Meek Mills. I don't know what you talking about or how that don't have nothing to do with Nicki Minaj. Nigga, him asking you is basically asking you, is this your store or do you work for your girl? What you mean? Like that's basically what he asked him.
But whatever other shots did he have blow at me?
I can't remember. I haven't listened to that song in a long time. Like you trying to ask me to remember a verse or something. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. Like you just asking me to freestyle something I can't do. But I'm telling you for a fact, I'm sure that if I knock the biggest and the baddest dude out on the block, I'm going to feel like for my next couple of fights that I can knock anybody out. That's basically what he's saying. That's how Drake was walking around and that's how he was feeling. He gave him that level of confidence that he feel like I could beat anybody. And then he got exposed and he got beat. Like I said, I can't recap the verse. I don't necessarily remember the actual words back to back, like word for word, besides the Charlemagne line and besides the "Is that your girl?" Or world tour. I can't really remember.
That's why I say,
I can't remember all of them verbatim. But like I said, I do agree with what Akademiks said. And then shout outs to Akademiks because he had a jump, and I guess we can kind of tie these two things in because he kind of went crazy. He had a rant that he was going crazy on Meek Mills. Where was it at? Here you go.
And why he was reporting bad about people. Meek, I will say this to you, your face on your deathbed. I killed your career, what was left of it. Not because if no nigga paid me. You disrespected me 9 years ago, and I kept it, and I'm like an elephant. I will never forget. Please don't try to bring up anything else. I laugh, and Meek, I will never in my life make sure if I see you at the top of the charts, trust me, I'm having a bad day. I laugh. I have a good time. I have my feet kicked up. I jack off to the fact that your career is 6 feet under because you disrespected a nigga who was born in Spanish Town, Jamaica, nigga, who happened to now have hip hop in the palm of his hands. Fuck what these other niggas try to say about me. I'm still gonna be that nigga. Your career ain't coming back. I killed it. Drake killed it. The game killed it. Rick Ross killed it. Even though you cool with him now, they all killed it. But I issued the last and final blow. You could tweet about me all you want to tweet, my nigga. But trust me, your counterparts call me every day and said, you a bad motherfucker. You killed that nigga's career. I did it because you disrespected me. The next time you see somebody you call a nerd, the next time you see somebody who you feel is lesser than you, all that street shit don't matter. Boy, all that shooting and all that dumb shit you did, nigga. Boy, you ain't talking about, nigga, any car you get, I could get. Any house you got, I could get. Nigga, I got the same money. What you talking about? I just did this to show a nigga like you should have respect. The reason why little baby's going through hell, I'm gonna teach you.
So I agree with everything he said, and I've said this before on here a million times. I think a lot of rappers and just a lot of people in general, when you having your moment, you got to be careful on the people you give your behind the kiss to. Like a lot of people do that. Like when you having your moment, you hot, you super popping, and you kind of look down on people, you talk about people. And I think I'm sure even with the nerd word, a lot of people have thrown that around with Akademiks, and I respect them for even remembering that and calling out like, hey, 9 years ago, you discredited me. You was kind of like you was dogging me out. And probably when Akademiks was trying to get interviews or trying to get exclusives for him, you was just probably downplaying him like he was just gonna be a pooper. He was gonna be here today and tomorrow, and he kind of like he still was here. That was that Stephen A. Smith moment when I remember what was that before this Knicks went on this crazy run, but at the beginning of the season when Stephen A. was like, I'm more popular than everybody who played for the Knicks. And that kind of was the truth. And we do live in that day and age. If you don't know how to use social media or YouTube or none of these platforms to your advantage, the times will eventually turn on you. And you see that all the time. You see a lot of people get super popular and then they kind of give their nose like they look their nose up to people and they kind of give people their butt to kiss. So I understand. I ain't mad at Akademiks for holding that grudge. But again, that's why I always said with Meek Mills or any other rappers, like, bro, you better find you somebody with a platform or with a voice and kind of be nice to them. It's just like the DJ thing. And that's I guess that was the reason why I wanted to put it, because we live in a time where people don't even appreciate the DJ no more. Like we talking about like back in the mixtape days where like DJ Drama or who else? DJ Scream or Swamp Izzo or Bigger Rankings or DJ Clue, Who Kid, any of them, with all of these DJ, think about all these people I'm naming, a lot of them, their names ain't as popular no more because they're not on, they didn't pick up a platform or they didn't start a podcast. Some people feel like they too cool to even start a podcast. So a lot of these DJs, you kind of just forget about them. They go to the wayside, but at one point in time, you kind of had to play nice with the DJs so people can kind of keep you in rotation. And since you live in a time now where the club, like I'm not saying every city, but in a lot of cities, the club atmosphere is kind of down and dying off. So people want to know what's the new music to listen to. They're looking for the podcaster to tell you that. They're looking for the YouTuber to tell you that. So they kind of, and that's why, but you know, Meek Mills does not have good graces with nobody who voices an opinion. Yeah, him and Gilly and Kid and Wallow and them are cool, but they just do interviews. They don't give their opinions for real. Like people don't go to them on a weekly basis for their opinion. There are other people who people go to them for their voice on a weekly opinion, and you kind of just let it go by the wayside. I don't necessarily like what you want me to tell you, dog. Like that is kind of, it's like, it's sad, but it's true. I can't sit here and be like, Meek kind of did it to himself, because who is he? I always ask you, who was the person that you gave? And that's why when people even talk about Drake with the culture vulture thing, at least you can see and say, well, Drake put these people on. Even for Meek, it's kind of like, damn, who you put on? And that's why people probably do look at him when Akademiks go so crazy on him. People kind of watch him and be like, damn, act smoking Meek. Because like, who did you put on? If you put it on at least another voice to be able to combat, like think about how many people love LeBron James. So even it's just like, people probably stop watching Skip Bayless because he don't have nobody to even stick up for LeBron on his show no more. He just doubled down with, okay, me and Paul Pierce gonna hate, so I'm not watching that no more. So people go watch Shannon Sharpe and Skip because you at least know, all right, if somebody on ESPN go crazy on LeBron, it's gonna be at least somebody. It's either gonna be Big Perk or it's gonna be Shannon. It's gonna be somebody on there to defend LeBron James, because you want to hear some type of combativeness to give this person back some type of shot of grace. But it's just like, for Meek, it's like, who did you really put on? Who gonna come defend you? So I'm cool with watching you kind of fall by grace. Like, it's all right, it's over for you, dog. And nobody kind of don't feel, nobody cares. Nobody ain't trying to put CBR to your career, because it's like, who did you help?
But that's my only thing. Like I said, even with Meek, it's just like, we had this argument a while ago, even before you was even a Drake fan. And I remember we had this argument. Oh, you was like, oh, Meek got the Aston Martin with the gold rims, and I'm like, dog, but Drake. You wasn't a Drake fan at that time.
No, I wasn't. We had that conversation before, for sure.
We had that conversation. We was arguing. I'm like, dog, but Drake sitting there selling.
So listen to, so you absolutely, I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot about it. You're absolutely right. And that kind of goes back into the Akademiks point when he was sitting here saying, did he kind of blamed this on Meek? Because you're absolutely right. At one point in time, I was a bigger Meek Mill fan than I was a Drake fan. So after Drake smoked Meek Mills, it was kind of like, damn, this little dude, he kind of more than just singing. You're absolutely right, because that was the lean up to tough guy Drake. Think about it, like that led him into becoming the tough version of Drake.
But that's why even when I just, even the thing where I just said, when I said the whole Nicki situation, I think it was just I'm more mad at Nicki than I'm mad at Meek Mill. Meek Mill's just defending for her, or he in the front runner. Because we know they had a ruffle. They wasn't as the best of the best. Now, yes, they are, but even still, they're not what they were when they was YM. when they was Young Money and all that. How
Oh
they,
yeah, no, of course not, because even I guess it was over the weekend. It was at a Lil Wayne concert, and I guess it must have been in Cali, and the DJ was playing Not Like Us, boy, and they was going crazy. And of course, people gonna run with the headline like, "Oh my God, at Lil Wayne concert, they was playing Not Like Us," and he didn't stop it. Like I'm sure if y'all been. Why would he? I mean, I'm sure because if he in Cali, one, he's not the DJ, and then of course, I mean, if you still in Cali, you're tying it back into the LeBron thing. So, bro, politics is politics. You can't sit here and be like, man, cut the shit or whatever the case may be. Like, nah, you just gotta let it rock out. And let's be clear, I guess we can get into something else after this, but I did see Lil Yachty got a lot of smoke, and even again going back into Akademiks, he kind of was dragging Yachty like, damn, you supposed to be Drake real friend, y'all supposed to be friends. I don't like that tape that you had. And the crazy thing is, Lil Yachty, and I'm sure Akademiks was just the loud voice that powered on, but it was a lot of people. Like, it was a girl that Yachty was going back and forth with on Twitter, and she was kind of like, I thought you and Drake was friends. Why you getting on there saying he lost and this, that, and the third? Like, people was looking for him to kind of have a different opinion on the whole Drake versus Kendrick Lamar thing. He was like, dog, it was a cool battle and Kendrick won. It's all right. Like, that Not Like Us is a hit record. Like, what you want me to do? So he said that on his podcast, and then obviously the critiques from social media and from Twitter and all the loud uproar and people was disappointed in him. He took it back. I don't think he should have took it back, but he did. And it was kind of like that to me. It was just like, maybe Lil Yachty should have just skipped that topic. Like, you took your podcast, took on a break for a minute anyway. You should have just left it on a break. If you couldn't come back and have a stir opinion on that and you felt like you had to delete that episode, like, bro, you should have just never even said it. Because what you said was nothing wrong with it. Like, you still big Drake up, and you even called out the stuff where you felt like it was all right, it was kind of corny. Like, y'all took it too far. It was cool. What you deleted for? I don't know why he deleted that episode. To me, that was just like, I don't agree with that part. We talked about casting that.